Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. I'm trying a new layout, so let me know if you guys like it or not. I kind of want to get some face cam in my default video, so I have been using face cam in my Dokkan videos. The only reason I haven't been doing them in my default videos is because I literally didn't have any room on the layout. So I decided, well, let's make a new layout where I can put my face cam on there. So hopefully you guys like it. Let me know what you guys think, but I think it's going to turn out pretty good. So anyways, today we are going to do our character guide on Rem. I know some of you have been waiting for this. For those of you that don't know, I literally just got back from vacation. I was away from my setup, and I wanted to have my good setup before doing these character guides, right? So I'm going to be pumping out probably one a day for like the next 4 or 5 days. I'm going to do Rem, Cypher, Fang, maybe even Beatrix. So I'll just crank out all of those today, and I'll just schedule them to go out. So Rem is awesome, and I'm doing Rem first because she's probably my favorite of this batch that I'm going to be doing right now. Rem is a character I've actually always liked in the game. She never was really like a top tier character, but I feel like now she actually is. She's really, really, really insanely good. So in this video, we're going to start by going over her spheres, her artifacts, and then we'll just do a little showcase on her. The thing I'm going to say right away before we hop into all of that, Rem is one of these characters that does have an extra weapon. She has 215 CPs, so you may not have known that. So if you're someone that wants to have all of her weapons, there is a weapon called the Karula Dagger in the exchange, the weapon exchange. Honestly, this isn't like a must-have. You don't have to have it if you don't want it. Basically, all it does is it adds ice elemental damage to her brave attacks. So if you want her to have built-in ice damage, then you could pick that up, but it's not necessary. Some people would actually not recommend it because if you don't have it on, then you could enchant her with other elements, and then she's like working more towards what your party's doing. So it could be something you turn on and off, but it's not like a must-have. So if you're like a newer player and you're short on power tokens, like don't stress about getting this one because it literally does nothing to her stats. It literally just adds the ice enchant onto her brave attacks. So if you really want that, then go ahead and pick it up. I do actually, one thing to think about though is I do actually really like the look of the dagger. So here I will show you, I'll just go to my appearance here and show you. This is what it looks like. I actually really like the look of that dagger. Before her LD and like the Ultima weapon, like that was the dagger I had on her. I don't know. I might actually go back to that. That's a sick looking dagger. So even like just for the weapon class, it might be worth it for people to buy that one. But I do like the way the Ultima dagger looks on her. It like gels very well with her alternate costume. By the way, I did put out a video, but I'm very happy that Squex did respond on the gem cap thing. So I did lift my ban on spending. So I did buy her costume and I did renew my Mog Pass. Now, depending on how they move forward with that, we might go back to that. But right now I feel better about it, knowing that we've been noticed, that they're at least postponing the gem cap. So as of right now, it's still up in the air, but at least they're going to be looking into alternate solutions, which I think is good on their part. So yeah, I do have her alternate costume. I went all out here. I've got Ultima weapon. Now, Rem isn't going to be the one that normally carries this, but I have her equipped with my maxed out dagger ultimate weapon. So we're really going to make Rem look good in this video. This dagger is going to be on lock for the most part for me, but I thought for this showcase here, it would be fun to actually have her like totally decked out and see like, because Rem, what you guys are going to see in this video, for a support unit, Rem can put up some ridiculous damage numbers. Like in my mind, Rem actually is a damage dealer. Like she does so much damage in the right setups. She's actually crazy. So anyways, I've talked a little bit more than usual here, but let's go ahead and jump in, and we're going to look at the let's look at the artifacts first. She's super basic. So artifacts just attack 108, max brave 330. In the past, it was more like I Brave Max Brave because she's kind of a battery and she didn't really do like brave attacks. But now she's doing a ton of brave attacks. So attack is actually a lot more important on her. So that's going to be kind of a change from like the old way you'd build her. And then let's go into her spheres. So she's a C and D sphere character. So the C spheres, there's kind of been a common trend with like what are the good C spheres. Pretty much Maria, Lude, Alpha Node, and then Garnet. Like those are pretty much like the really good C spheres because they are giving party buffs like for attack or brave damage or attack to herself. So if you want her attack to be more, go Garnet. If you want more party stuff, do Maria, Lude, Alphino. I recommend going more Maria, Lude, Alphino on Rem because she's more of a support character anyways. You want her to be more supporting your other damage dealers, so giving them more attack through her C sphere is better. So I've got Maria and Alpha Node on mine. And then for the D sphere, once again, pretty common theme. You want to give anything that's going to boost party attack. So she is a character that does work with Wakas. So I did the full Waka sphere on here. So anytime there's 5 or more buffs, max brave and attack by 5% for the party. I think Rem is a very good candidate. Waka is like one of the best D spheres in the game. It's just not every character can wield it. Rem, I think, is a very good choice to throw this one on. So that's what I decided to do there. All right, so let's hop into the showcase. As usual, I'm kind of sticking with this Edgar intersecting wills just because I want just a boss that can soak up some damage so I have time to showcase that. The boss doesn't really do anything to mess with me. So I've been finding this Edgar intersecting wills just to be a very good showcase stage. So I'm kind of sticking with that. So there's a couple of things I'm going to showcase. So we're running Garnet on the team just because Garnet makes every character look good. And so for this character guide / showcase, I want to show you guys like the potential of like Rem doing insane damage. And by the way, she doesn't need an Ultima weapon. I, for the most part, use her with just her LD, and she's done some insane damage. So don't worry about the Ultima weapon. I just thought for like the meme of it, it would be kind of fun in this video to like go all out with that Ultima weapon. And then I have Machina here for a purpose because Machina pairs very well with Rem, and Machina is going to help show off how good Rem's support is. So that's why I put Machina on this team. By the way, this is the team I used to one team the boss rush. So if you want to one team the boss rush, this team can do it. Okay, so let's hop into our little showcase here. We'll just pick a random partner. Sure, that's fine. But Rem is a lot of fun, and I would say Rem right now, her main gimmick is she turn swaps, which is really awesome, and I would say she's probably like the premier turn swapper now. I would say like if I was doing like Sid Reigns shenanigans, I would actually probably run Rem instead of Aphmau, because Aphmau just does like no damage. Rem's actually doing damage and swapping into Reigns. Like I think that would still be a good combo. All right, so we're gonna do our typical Garnet setup here. Well, Aquamarine to get into our like Brave Gain stance. Then we are going to why don't we just yeah, we can just wipe enemy turns to slow them down, put some debuffs on. All right, so we're going to do that. Then we're going to use the AA because we want to make our units look really good here. And then we're going to pop the burst attack. This is another one of those deals where like by the time I'm done showcasing all of Rem's kit, like the bosses are probably going to be about dead, right? The one thing is I'm not going to use a burst phase here. So like that will save the bosses a lot of health because Rem isn't a burst character. So we're not going to show off like a crazy burst phase. Okay, so we've got that. Now we'll do Machina. So now with Machina, this is what I want to show off. So we're going to put his stunning slash down, and then we're going to use his burst attack so he gets his burst plus. So Rem pairs really well with Machina for two reasons. One is Machina has a lot of HP dumps, and one of the buffs she gives is really useful for characters with HP dumps. Also, Machina, when he does his big HP attack, he does delay himself, and Rem can pull him back up, which is very, very good. So we're going to go ahead, let's put Machina's burst attack on. Okay, we'll do that. And then we're going to get into Rem's first turn here. Rem, we can actually showcase fairly quickly because she does have some free turn actions that we can just show off, right? So Rem does start with all of her buffs on. So you don't have to open with the LD if you don't want to. You can kind of start with whatever. So one thing that's going to happen from her LD is she gets follow-up attacks after every action she does. So for example, I could just do the AA here. So we could use swap Brave all. And basically it just gives you party Brave gain, Brave limit, just helps the party out. So like you usually want to put the AA on. So let's just put that on. Free turn, and you can see she gets the Siphon Sphere. And the Siphon Sphere comes from her LD buff. And what that does, that's really good. You can see it actually does very decent damage. And then it also will give a buff to the next party member. So you can see Garnet, I think, is holding it right now, this magical protection. So Garnet's going to get this one-turn buff, or whoever's following her gets this one-turn buff. And the big thing that it does is their Brave can't fall below 30% of max Brave. This is why it combos really well with a character like Machina, who's doing a ton of HP dumps. It's going to help give him more damage out of each dump because his Brave's not going down to 0 every time he dumps. So that's really, really good, right? Rem's cure got a lot better. So Rem previously would have to use cure on each character individually, and it would like give a buff. But now you can see I can just press the button. It just does huge brave gains, huge healing, and it's a free action, free turn. And you can see we get the follow up. So every time Rem's doing these free actions, you can see that was AoE 340k there. That's really good damage. Now, granted, this is Ultima weapon, Garnet, right? Like all those shenanigans, but she can put out really crazy good damage. Then what we'll do is let's go ahead and show off the swap turns. So swap turns is really nice because it's going to basically swap her turn with another character. So let's say I want to pull Machina up right here, right? Now, something people might not realize from the swap turns is whoever she swaps with is going to up their EX gauge by like 20%. Now, Machina's EX is terrible right now because he's not C90, but like this is very relevant for C90 characters. So if you guys want to look in the bottom left, you'll see Machina's in the middle there, and you can see its EX gauge on the right, that little pink bar in there. Watch the pink bar. So I'm going to swap with Machina. Okay, so I'm going to do this, and you'll see his pink bar just shot up like 20%. So his EX gauge went up. We do the follow-up. So now Machina is going to have the one-turn buff. We're going to get all these follow-ups and crap, right? Yeah, sure. So now Machina, so now you can see Machina and Garnet both have the one-turn buff. So that's the cool thing, right? So like if a different character is following up Rem, you could do a free action turn, do the follow-up, give the one-turn buff to one of your teammates, then swap into the other one. Now they both have the one turn. So you can see here, Machina's got magical protection, Garnet's got magical protection. So on each of their next attacks, they're going to keep that 30% brave, like no matter what. The thing is like Garnet's follow-ups are going to be getting that even when she's not taking your turn, which is also very good. Now watch the damage Machina is going to throw out here. So this is the Furious Blade's burst. Once again, he's under magical protection, so his brave will not go below 30%. You can see it's just staying humongous this whole time through. He's capping. I mean, Garnet's going to allow him to cap anyways, but like, yeah, 1.5 mil right there, right? So if you're not running Garnet, like it's more significant, but yeah, it's very, very good. And now we've got Rem up again. So now it's like, okay, I could cure, free turn, do follow-ups. Like I could just play around with it. We'll use the LD as well just to show that off. But if I wanted to, like I could just sit here and do this for a while. These bosses are so weak, right? So I could just do that. Look at that, 430k from using cure, which isn't even an attack. That was the follow-up that came with it. Now watch how much damage Rem can do. We're going to pop off the LD here. Look at the amount of damage for like a support character. Watch this. We're going to pop off the LD. This is going to do big damage. So she just did 870k, and then the follow-up is going to do another 400. So she just did like 1.3 mil AoE on her LD. That's like a burst attack, and Rem could just pop that off like for four of those. Now, granted, I've got like a really insane setup for Rem right now because she's got the Ultima weapon and she's got Garnet. But even without the Ultima weapon, like she can still do like over a mil AoE with that attack, which is pretty darn insane. Sure, we'll just like Garnet do this thing. But I mean, that's basically it. That's Rem in a nutshell. There's no like specific order that you want to do stuff in. Like Rem, because her whole deal is like swapping turns and whatnot, it's really dependent on your party and the situation. But she's such a flexible character. If you want to pop off a few free turns with follow-ups, you can do that. If you want to do that big damaging LD attack, obviously with the LD, you want to make sure if her LD buff is going to run out, because that's the one giving her the follow-ups. I believe that is the Absorb Magic. Yep, that's Siphon Sphere. So yeah, the Absorb Magic, you just want to make sure you upkeep that with the LD, or when you want to pop off big damage. In the way the game is right now, we'll let Machina just go crazy here as well. With the way the game is right now, like you don't have to worry about like managing stuff or like skill uses. Like you've got so many, and these characters are so overpowered, right? So now, oh yeah, we haven't shown off the EX yet. I suppose that's the thing we should probably show up. The thing is these team builds I'm doing are so powerful. I very rarely, like I'm usually getting to the EX for the first time, like right at the end of the fight, right? So her EX is a very fast charging move. And like outside of her LD, it's probably like one of her better damaging attacks, right? So we'll show this off here in just a second. It does do some like spot healing, which is really good. And then What it does is it grants Siphon, which gives Rem a free skill use on our next turn. The one thing I didn't mention about the LD is the LD gives the entire party a free skill use. So that's the other thing that's great about the LD. So Rem's kit is just packed with really good stuff, and she's doing insane damage. So like, let's look at this LD. Well, here's the thing now. We've got a free turn here, right? So I could just cure for free and then pop off, you know, well, we'll let this do whatever it's going to do, not kill us. So that's fine. Go ahead. Sure. It's fine. So we'll do that. That's going to pop off, right? Oh, and then we got to pull Rem back up. So what we'll do here is we actually need like a spot heal here from, so we'll just do this. We'll do this. Bosses are actually attempting to fight us here. So we'll let the bosses get their turns in. All right. Yep. Do that. Do that. But when we're looking at the damage from the EX, so like the initial damage won't be like crazy impressive for like a C90 EX, but you have to consider like for a unit like Rem, when they get those follow-ups, I count the follow-up as a part of their damage because they're getting it guaranteed. So like, I think you do have to consider that when you're looking into that, right? So for Rem here, let's pop off the EX. We're going to do this. Okay, watch the damage here. Okay, so that was a 450k AoE coupled with another 400k AoE. So her EX just did 800k AoE, which is pretty darn good by today's standards, right? Okay, let's swap into Machina now. So let's just do a swap. Bring Machina up to the front. Her follow-up's going to come with it. Popping off 400k. I mean, and then we got Garnet's follow-up. You can see how this team could one-team the boss rush because of all the follow-ups, all the shenanigans we're doing. And then sure, we can just summon. I mean, we're close enough now, we might as well just finish Lufenia off, right? But just, this team is so powerful. So, you know, my previous team that I was saying was the best team in DFFOO was Garnet, Locke, and Machina. I think Rem now is in that discussion for me. So, like, I've been kind of running this Garnet, Machina, Rem, and then also Garnet, Locke, Rem. I think those are both very, very good teams. But Rem is just such a likable character to me. I just really like her, and I like her kit. So I am trying to use her a lot. And then I feel like we got to throw Layla into the mix. Layla's just been such a busted character. So I don't think there actually is one definitive best team. I think there are some top tier characters, and I think all those ones I rattled off are very, very top tier right now. Not to mention, we got a few big boys coming up. So I'm going to be doing my April BT guide here coming up. But there's going to be a lot to talk about. Zach, Laguna, Snow, very, very good. Roms is coming up. There's a lot of really good BTs. Like, this month was pretty, like, dead for, like, good BTs. Like, Theodore wasn't that great, right? But we've got a slew of really good ones coming. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of Rem. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.